Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel, and today I'm reviewing From Below by Darcy Coates. This is a book that's been on my radar for some time now, and a fortuitous trip to a different branch of the New York Public Library finally gave me the opportunity to check it out, and I'm really glad that I did. Even though I'm in the middle of Garbaugust, I needed a break from trash just to read something a little bit more literary, and this book absolutely delivered that for me. Let's get into it. From Below follows Cove, a documentary filmmaker who has been contracted to explore the wreckage of the SS Arcadia. The Arcadia was a commercial liner that was lost at sea under mysterious circumstances back in 1928, with nothing but a handful of garbled, nonsensical SOS messages to hint at its final resting place. Cove and her team will be the first people in almost a century to enter the ship and uncover the secrets of its mysterious sinking. Unfortunately for them, just because the ship lays at rest at the bottom of the ocean, that doesn't mean it's dead. This was my first foray into the world of Darcy Coates, and I will absolutely be going back for more because holy cow, did I love this book. If it's not obvious, I love horror, but it takes a lot to actually scare me, especially when it comes to books. I've read all of Stephen King's greatest hits, and I love them, but they don't actually scare me. At best, a good horror novel will have maybe like a scene or two that gets under my skin, but it's incredibly rare for a book to unnerve me from beginning to end. The last time I remember a book accomplishing that was House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski, at least until today. I don't like to curse on this channel because I want to come across as mildly professional, but I must do it here to emphasize a point. I do not fuck with the ocean. I don't think that we belong out there. We don't need to be investigating it. I don't go on cruises. I don't go swimming in it above my waist. I'll take a boat onto like a shallow lake, maybe like 6 feet deep at the most. I'll even go kayaking. I've been known to kayak close to shore. But the deep ocean, I don't fuck with the deep ocean. Darcy Coates does a phenomenal job of laying out all the dangers of deep sea diving and really triggering that thalassophobia. All of the risks are laid out for us clearly on the crew's first dive down to the wreck. We understand the threat of the bends, of running out of oxygen in the tank, of a dive suit being breached, of communications going down, of lamps going out. It's all set up organically early so that when things inevitably start to go wrong, the sense of danger is intense. From Below reminds me a lot of the movie The Descent, in that it is about a group of people who are doing something that is, on its own, an extremely dangerous activity. In The Descent, they're spelunking, and here they're deep-sea scuba diving. Even before an external threat is introduced, the anxiety of the activity itself is more than enough to put you on edge. Then things start to compound, and that anxiety just gets more and more heightened to the point where you feel exhausted after a while. I also think Coates does a good job of giving justifiable reasons for the crew to keep going back to the wreck. Some fuddy-duddies might read this and be like, this is stupid. After the first dive, I would have canceled everything and gone home. But you have to remember that the characters themselves don't know that they are in a horror story, and they have rational motivations to keep going, and so I was completely on board for it. Coates is able to give each member of the crew a distinct personality so that nothing that they ever do over the course of the story ever feels out of place. They aren't tremendously dimensional characters for the most part, but I don't think they need to be, and what they are is perfectly satisfactory for this old-fashioned feeling ghost story. Now for this next bit, I do want to talk about the ending, so this is a spoiler warning. Seriously, only watch this next part if you've already read the book, otherwise skip to this timestamp here. The ending of From Below really caught me by surprise because nobody dies. I feel like it's such a foregone conclusion that in modern adult horror, Somebody needs to die in order for the threat to feel real and for the stakes to be heightened. So it was kind of refreshing, honestly, that that wasn't the case. Coates does a terrific job of putting her characters in danger and making that danger feel substantial. But in the end, we do get about as happy of an ending as we could have hoped for. So I totally get it if you prefer your horror to be bleak and fatalistic, but I personally didn't feel the lack of a character death took away from any of the terror of this book. I'll also just mention that the attempt to explain the haunting with like toxic fabric or whatever was whatever. It was a pretty weak theory, and I kind of like that it goes unconfirmed and mostly just served as an additional reason for more scuba action. From Below is a tense book that had me staying up well past my bedtime because I just couldn't put it down. It's an exhilarating ghost story that doesn't rely on blood to deliver a good scare, and it doesn't ever get so dark that it leaves you depressed. My arbitrary and subjective grade for From Below by Darcy Coates is 9 out of 10. Do with that what you will. What book by Coates should I read next? Please let me know your recommendations in the comments. Thank you for spending some time with me today, but now it's time to get back to reading.